All right, so this is a pretty wild thing here. Damn, it's going to clip out for a second. Hold on.
The valence shift and the RP weight, we can see how 5 to 10 unique emotions are created from the one same process.
I'm gonna pause that real quick, and I'll probably have to dip out and back in here. I don't know how to keep the audiobook playing, but to segment it so that you can hear what the guy is talking about. This is Sean Webb, worked for the NSA and the DoD on learning, how teaching AI to understand emotions. Okay, there's different groups of so there's different groups of emotional characteristics, right? And this is how you are segmented based on the stimuli that you interact with online, right? Like, laugh, love, emoticons and all that stuff. This is how long they've been at this, since like 2000 or 1995 actually at the earliest. But look into sentient world simulation, how to teach AI, all these things. There is an algorithm built on all the digital things you do. They're in this book. The book is called How Emotions Work in Humans and Computers. So watch what this guy has to say. So hopefully I have to back out again. 1 second.
And by how much? For example, if we're worried about getting sick, catching a cold represents a smaller potential valence shift than would contracting cancer. So our emotional reaction is less for the potential fact that we may have contracted a cold than it is if we're rating the test results regarding our potential development of cancer. Beyond this being common sense, it reveals how severity of emotions can be mapped into the following groups. These lists are somewhat subjective, change them as you will, but I loosely classify each emotion group as representing 5 emotions each, as listed in the following manner. You'll notice that some of them don't even have names yet. And for audiobook listeners, we're going to go through about 10 of these emotion groups, broken out into 5 individual unique emotions each. Hang with me for about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It does end.
The diagram is
Figure 11A. Fear group.
I wish I had.
Level 1, fear, concern.
Physical book.
Level 2, cautious. Level 3, afraid, fearful. Level 4, horror, fright. Level 5, panic. Figure 11B, anger group. Level 1, annoyed. Level 2, frustrated. Level 3, angry. Level 4, hate, fury. Level 5, rage. Figure 11C, sadness group. Level 1, disappointed. Level 2, hurt. Level 3, sadness. Level 4, grief. Level 5, despair. Figure 11D, happiness group. Level 1, satisfied. Level 2, pleased. Level 3, happy. Level 4, elated. Level 5, ecstatic. Figure 11E, disgust group. Level 1, reticent. Level 2, distaste. Level 3, disgusted. Level 4, repulsed. Level 5, revulsion or sickened.
How many emojis does Facebook give you?
Positive anticipation group. Level 1, mild anticipation. Level 2, anticipation level 2. Level 3, anticipation. Level 4, edge of your seat. Level 5, on bated breath. Figure 11G, worry group. Level 1, distressed. Level 2, nervous. Level 3, worried. Level 4, distraught. Level 5, dread. Figure 11H, regret group. Level 1, mild regret. Level 2, regret level 2. Level 3, regret. Level 4, lament. Level 5, deplore. Figure 11I, pride group. And in the pride group, we have pride. And so level 1 through level 5 is listed as pride level 1 through pride level 5. Figure 11J, shame group. Level 1, contrite. Level 2, sorry. Level 3, shame. Level 4 is level 4 shame. And level 5, remorse. Other groups exist, and each group has a specific rule set that determines when it is activated. We will discuss additional emotion groups when we discuss rule sets that activate those emotion groups. Partly, I omit some information here to reduce monotony. By this point, you should get the gist of how attachment level and perception create a specific level of emotional reaction within a group, and that the groups are selected by some rule sets that we will discuss shortly. That said, I also humbly acknowledge that due to the subjective nature of naming/grouping emotions, science will eventually and collectively need to decide which specific emotions should be classified together based on physiological and/or mind process testing results. What really is the difference between being flustered and being shaken? Is there one? Or are they just two different words for the same state of mind? Historically, our emotions, definitions, and vocabulary has been governed by their use in literature and written word. Moving forward, I expect that science will trump literary influence. For now, I've classified other emotion groups based on some pretty solid rule sets shared later in the book. I included the above groupings just to show how groups can be assembled and to show how the model and process prove itself out when we plug in everyday scenarios from real life. It may very well be determined in the future that some emotion groups only need 3 levels of variation, based on the words that we have to describe varying levels of pride, for instance. Are there 5 levels of pride, or maybe there are 10? While I have 5 emotions broken out in each of the above groups, it might make sense to break out certain emotion groups in a more granular fashion to acknowledge the difference between slightly annoyed and highly annoyed.
This is the guy that helped to design emotional recognition AI systems.
For now, we have a solid foundation of base rules that make sense for our purposes. While I acknowledge that these emotion classifications are subjective to a certain degree, as we will see moving forward, modeling and tracking of these emotions will make it seem much less subjective. Modeling of the individual emotion process. Considering the various emotion severity levels, we can now better model the unconscious specific emotion selection process in the mind. The mind's perception of the world gets processed through the equation of emotion and emotions rule sets, to be discussed next, and this determines the emotion group that is enabled within the mind. For instance, we know that a perceived threat to self enables a fear group reaction. Next, the severity of emotion within that group is presented as the resulting emotion. Figures 11K and 11L. Perception gets fed into the equation of emotion. Depending on the emotion rule sets, the emotion group is selected, the emotion severity is selected.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is showing people how they, showing you people, so share it to other people that want to understand what is AI. AI is what Facebook has been doing the entire time, right? Facebook was LifeLog. Look that up. It was LifeLog. That is a DARPA program. That is a government agency created something that builds an algorithm or a data tracking mechanism, this digitized system for analyzing your behaviors, right? Through all of your different emoticons on Facebook as you're clicking through on your phone or whatever, right? So this is where the AI has been. So people are always going, oh, well, stop using AI. It's so bad for you. It's sucking the life out of everything. They've already done the damage on all of that, man. Like my face, for as many times I've posted pictures of my kids and my family and people I hang around with, things that make me happy, sad, angry, distasteful, or whatever, right? All of those things have been collected 10 years previous to COVID ever happening, right? So when COVID came out and they saw in live time how people were responding to being locked down, being forcefully injected, or they would lose their job, or Biden winning, or whatever it is, right? Whatever that stimuli was, all of the rest of that tracking data, this guy's fucking stupid. I didn't know you were in there, you fucking moron. Sitting in their car all that time I'm talking. So all the rest of that tracking data, all of that, I don't know what the hell what was I even saying there? I don't even know what I was saying. But this is what they've been doing the entire time with Facebook. They blast you with Charlie Kirk got shot. Internet blows up. People are laughing, hating, whatever, right? All of it is recorded and analyzed on your smart watch. Did your heart rate jump up, right? What kind of stress level is this person at? While you're listening to your AirPods walking down the street reading what brain state or brain wave data you're in right now, right? So this guy's explaining the different variations of each specific emotion and how they modeled it, right? So when you're trying to figure out who's a real truther and who's not, right? This is, what the hell was I just going to say? It's complex. It's very complex, but everything is analyzed. All of everything you do digitally is analyzed through all those different smart interfaces, right? Self-monitoring, assessment, and reporting technology, devices that you wear, the things that you do daily are all being cataloged, right? Doesn't necessarily mean, so why would they want to do all that and put all this tracking data in place? It's what can we get away with after it all is in place? That's why, right? It's not so much about controlling the things that you do now. It's what they're going to make allowable later, right? We'll get away with this. You know, in the United States, they might come looking for us with guns, whatever, right? All of that is they're getting this digitized replica of the world, right? That's the sentient world simulation. That's the Purdue University stuff. You know, all of that. The laws, you know, it's not illegal to eat meat right now, right? And people say, well, what do I have to worry about? I never break the law, right? And we've been fucking yelling this for the last 5 years, like, yo, this is what's coming, blah, blah, blah. And that's the thing that I'm getting at, is that you're not breaking the law right now. I'm a fine, upstanding citizen, right? Will these videos one day be held against me? Have I broken any laws in these videos for speaking about Israel the way that I feel? You know, or our own country and their involvement in the things that Israel does, right? Will that or can that be held against me later down the road, right? There's a digital catalog of it all, right? I don't personally give a shit what they do to me later on, right? I know I'm doing the right thing by helping other people to understand it, you know, but the other people that are terrified for their life, like, oh my God, I need to live another day, you know, which is what they've also created through other means of like religion and whatever, pharmaceutical sales and, you know, all of the different things driving people into worry and panic and all that stuff. You know, that's been their sales tactics forever, right? So it's mind-blowing to rip through this book, right? This is probably the third time I went through this book. First time I listened to it on like 2 times speed, and I didn't really gather that much info out of it. I hit one chapter, I was like, oh my God. And that is like 2019 or 2020. That was the first time I went through this book, and I was like, what? This is what's really going to happen with COVID. And I knew, like, you ever hit that point, you know what's going to happen, right? Now we're listening to it. This is what evolved into AI being your new government. How you feel about things is going to be held against you, right? What you think about things as they read the brainwave data, right? Not that they can read your specific thoughts that accurately yet, but all of the other criteria that goes with it. What's on the smartwatch? What's the heart rate? What's the, you know, the emotion, the pulse, or what, right? All of that other data in conjunction with, you know, the brainwave data and how you've responded to specific stimuli as you were on your phone talking about politics that you hate so much and the government you can't stand, right? This is how they do it in the United States. They don't need to take your guns here, right? They already have you in the prison. As your head is down in your phone and you don't see all of this other shit going on around you, by the time it is all fully here, and they say, all right, we're switching from cash. There's not going to be any more cash. We're going straight to digital currency, which will be determined, your access to your digital currency will be determined by your emotional state, your mental state, what you feel like, what you don't like. If you are a good citizen, well, the rest of you will be washed out of society. What did it take for a pilgrim to get to the United States? They probably had to be a good Christian or a good Catholic or whatever, right? So that was the new world of slavery. That's what this place was built on. Was if you're a Christian, you're going to make a great slave. You are subservient to a great invisible mechanism that's up in the sky that always watches everything you do, right? You are already there. That's what they built the United States on. There's no escape from this, right? Your thoughts are not even your own anymore. Like, that's how invasive all this stuff is going to be. So I just figured it was very relevant to show this to other people. And as I'm driving back from something I had to take care of today, I figured people would be very interested to find out that it is a legitimate program. This is how and why they've put AI together the way that they have, so that to corral your thoughts, to corral your minds, to digitally quarantine you, right? So all those different classifications this guy is labeling, right? Well, when I see Patriot stuff and I get all excited and happy about it, let's keep the level 1Cs away from the level 2Ds, right? These are the politicians. They're schooled and got PhDs, and we don't need them knowing any of this radical shit that these other people are fucking finding for some reason. How do they keep finding this shit, right? Because they drove us nuts with COVID. They drove us nuts with AI. They built algorithms specifically to fuck up your brain, the fifth generation warfare stuff. So this isn't like a game or a joke or a conspiracy theory. You're watching it in live time. So if you've got anything smart, chuck the shit in the garbage, right? Not that it would matter now, because they already have a digital replica of you, right? So as one portion of that, you are an individual with an individual emotion set. Collectively, how does the army, all of the military men and women in the army, how do they feel about something specifically in unison as the entire, by segmented group, right? A battalion or a squad, right? So the squad feels this way, but the overall battalion feels this way. The entire army itself versus the Air Force, how do they feel about all this stuff, right? And then the augmentation or modulation of those emotions. If they know how they all work, they know how to change all of them. They know what kind of stimuli to expose them all to, right? So now you're talking about the military is all vaccinated. The college kids are all vaccinated. Everybody that kept their job in a professional bandwidth are all vaccinated, right? They wouldn't have kept their jobs otherwise. So that was the seed that they planted into American society that is going to change the whole direction of the country, right? Like people always say, people that got vaccinated, they're totally different than they've ever been, right? It's not a joke. It's not a joke, right? Through electromagnetic field radiation, that stuff that's in the body can compound wavelengths that change the way brain activity occurs, the way that the nervous system responds, right? And I know this because I've got a Rife machine, and on that Rife machine I can change my own emotional state, get up and go to work, feel super energized. I need to sleep a little bit better. Haven't been using it as much as I normally do, which I probably should because of the whole sleep thing. Like yesterday, we were talking about solar flares are coming. You know what that means, right? They're jacking up something inside the grid, this smart grid system, right? We need all those houses way over there out of the way if we're going to build a smart city. Well, how do we do that? Let's start a fire with smart meters, right? Weather modification and geoengineering and whatever, right? So all of this smart grid system, bringing in the smart cities, bringing in the AI and the algorithms for everything is here. They're reshaping the country as we're speaking, right? Bill Gates is the fall guy for the government, right? Or he is the leader of the government. It's one or the other, right? So it's nuts, right? It is. It's fucking nuts. But you need to be aware of it. You have to stop saying that's a conspiracy theory. You have to stop going like, it's no big deal. I can just do whatever and, let's detox and raise your vibration and, not to put anybody down that feels that way on a spiritual level, right? But, the facts are the facts. What people did back in 1930s Germany didn't matter. They fucking died, or they got put on the train, or they got poisoned, they got put into camps, right? So this is where we're at. Who knows what they're going to do in the future, right? Let's just say they name my town, hey, these guys are going to be very non-compliant with a smart city going there. Let's wipe that town out somehow. How can we do that? Let's, we can cloud seed over there, flood them out. That'll be one way. No, we could just, worst case scenario, go in with a bunch of SWAT teams, pick them all off individually, but we can keep their digital twins alive on the internet so they can all keep posting their little things built on the algorithms that were previously there. Now, this is theorizing, but it's a capability. Like, for sure, it's a capability at this point. They can build, out of what they already have collected and gathered on you, this can be used to supplement whatever gigantic change they plan on having for us. When I say they, it's always the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, the, whatever, right? All of it. So, I don't know what else to say on that topic, but you got to get this audio book. It's on Audible. Listen to this guy talking about how they put this system together and this categorization, this categorization system of, like he keeps calling them haplogroups and stuff, but it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, and like I read it that long ago, and I tried showing people that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and mostly everybody around me is going, no, just put a fucking mask on, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, it's working. DOD, you guys did a hell of a job, thanks, Israel, you got our government right where you want it, like, it's, holy shit. I'm going to pull over here soon and see if I can catch on to some of the comments quick, but you got to start looking at this stuff the way that it actually goes, right? The smart grid is the template for making all of it work. The smart grid is how it all goes together. So it's everything in digitized format, right? You've got two options right now. Comply with everything. Stay dependent on government. Wow, look at that fucking cloud. Is that weird? It looks like strings in the sky. Stay dependent on government. You want to hold on to that nice home that you have, that you've got a mortgage on and whatever, right? You want to hold on to that. You better be a good citizen and just quietly change over to this digitized currency, or everybody wakes the fuck up all at one time and says, you know what? Money is the method. Money is the tool of theirs to measure what we're doing, to calculate what we're doing, to control what we're doing, right? So going back to a barter system, but the people need to be in control of that, trades and goods and services thing, however that can happen, without centralized banking or centralized money. And we're so indoctrinated into believing that that's the only answer to, I wish I had $1 million, it would solve everything. It doesn't solve anything. No matter how much you think about it, would be able, in this specific world. But what if you had $1 million in the new digital technology world, and they said, hey, we know you got $1 million, but you didn't get that last injection you were supposed to get, so we're not going to let you spend it. You go get your injection, we'll let you have your $1 million, right? So, like, that's how, like, this is just all so fucked up. That's the reality of what they're doing with digital currency. It's absolute, there's no return. It's absolute control. There is no return after that. They kill all of your self-sustainability stuff, right? Your agriculture, your being able to farm in your yard, poisoning all of the different things that they give. I mean, they give you iron gardening tools, right? That's what you can usually use. Damaging to the soil. It ionizes, it rusts, it kills the soil. Now, guess what? You need some kind of fertilizer, right? If you use copper or bronze or tin tools in your garden, that wouldn't be the case, right? But it's in all things that way. No matter what, you're talking about your medicines, right? You're talking about your devices and the things that you use on a regular daily basis, the building products that you put your home together with, right? What if you heard me talking about ionization or static charge being entrapped inside of your house, nobody's ever able to ground themselves off, These are all things that our government has done, right? Our government has taken part in keeping us weak and tired and sick and subservient and compliant and stupid and whatever else, mentally challenged in most cases, right? Like, we're far past we're far past the ability to just stand up. It's not going to be that easy, right? The longer people go without recognizing all this shit going on around us, the longer people are saying, oh, I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist online in front of all of my friends in the town that I grew up in, right? That's why I scream, because I don't give a fuck what anybody else says about me, right? I know what's really happening. Yo, we should all be talking about this. Oh, no, I'm not talking about that. Everybody will think I'm crazy. Well, then keep your mouth shut and we're all fucked. Good job. Great. You know, it's nice that you're the mayor and all, but like that kind of shit. They won't touch it. They won't address it. You know, your governors are fully purchased, right? Like Josh Shapiro is in Pennsylvania. He's a major proponent of this whole thing, making it take place, making it take shape in in Pennsylvania, right? Trump sold out big, you know, Operation Warp Speed. What were the vaccines? Now, if he had any kind of power whatsoever, he would have known these are a bioweapon, right? These are to control and modify human DNA, right? These are somehow to remotely kill, maim, weaken, harm, right? He knew that there would be side effects, but he's still the president, and people are still going, go Trump. Why are they still going? Go Trump. Because they've been digitally quarantined from the people that are making sense about why you should not vote for people like that, right? So, holy shit, right? Just say it with me. Holy fucking shit. Let's just say it. It's like, wow, look at the world we're in right now. It's wild. It's wild. It is wild. We are in big trouble. And, I mean, what do you do at this point? What do you do at this point? Money is the only way, you know, to get rid of these technologies, right? The technologies are there because of our carelessness with it, right? I pay $100 a week to have such and such insurance. Well, such and such insurance is also, you know, somewhere up the line owned by the same company that owns the medical industry that is doing all the work, right? So now that I'm only paying $100 a week out of my paycheck to have that insurance, and the insurance says, all right, well, hey, look, got an open door, open checkbook, bam, let's just charge them $350,000 to remove that ingrown toenail. Like, what the fuck? They don't care. It's not their money. It's the insurance company's money. Where'd the insurance company get its money? By aggregating all of its members, right? So when you go to the dentist, you go to the doctor, you go to anybody like this, your insurance agent after you get into a car accident, yo, I'm going to price fight you on this. I don't care if the insurance, nobody does that. That's what needs to be done, right? Keeping a fair market available to everybody. So, oh boy, real men want real women. So far isn't happening. I hope that doesn't mean chicks with dicks or something like that. I don't know what you're talking about. Hello, interesting. Is this AI? No, it is not AI. I think I explained that. Good afternoon, Saraya. Good afternoon. Hi, Bill. AI probably thinks I'm the most sarcastic person out there. It's a real thing. What they did here, it was a real thing. Hi, Shane in chat. Just joining, Louise. Hi, Matt. What's up, bro? Hello from Florida. Jenny Timboy. People are difficult. Some are just nasty attitudes now. I see it in my family who took the garbage. I agree. I use Copilot on MSN and it answers any question within a second, addresses me by name and where I live. Spooky stuff, even though it's helpful. To what end, I don't know. Scott, so it's, you know, it is building your digital twin. Just Google that. What is my digital twin? That's part of Sentient World Simulation. That's part of the system designed to duplicate your actions, your abilities, your knowledge on things, your environment, right? What you're exposed to regularly on a professional level, on a personal level. Who are you digitally is what is created, and then they use AI to run that, an algorithm against it. Now that, all right, this is the way that Scott thinks. Let's build, you know, let's bombard digital Scott with all of this AI created content or stimuli or whatever, right, on his social media, and see if we can get him to, would this video, that video, this post, these words, right, all of these different types of things. Let's bombard him with all of it on his digital self, and then once we get the desired outcome there, we run it for real on the real person, right? So that's what they're using AI for. That's why everybody's saying don't use AI. It's harmful, and that's how it's harmful, right? Because you won't even, like, you'll own nothing and be happy. That's why. That's why. Like, that's the reason why you don't want to use AI, is you don't want to be happy while you own nothing, right? You won't even know that your country has been taken over. Like, all of us already don't know that our country is already gone. It's been sold off. It's in the hands of, like, the UN or Israel or whoever, right? But it's definitely not in the power of, it's not in the hands of the people at this point in time, I use Copilot. All right, just read that. It's studying us to learn how to control us. So how do we combat that? Be a rebel. There was a time, I made a post one time, and Cindy Niles thought it was brilliant. It was like, do all of these things that are outside of your natural behavior, right? But, like, let's say, you had a friend whose mom died, and they say, can I get some prayers for my mom on Facebook, some of that stuff, right? And you click on a laugh emoji. That would fuck AI up. It'll be like, yo, this person is like either a full-blown fucking psychopath or they're happy that their friend's mother died. Like, what the fuck, So it's by doing shit that it does not, that it can't predict, right? That's really one of the biggest ways, I think. So can't even talk to the vaxxed dead eyes. Yeah, I mean, it's done a number on them, man. Like, you got to think it's a wirelessly programmable nanoparticulate. If you watch the Tesla phoresis thing, you just see it, forming or connecting and organizing itself together, right? But that's not nano dust that you're looking at. The nano stuff is a completely different thing. And when you start working in the hydrogel to bond it to the cells to create the gene, the mitochondrial expression and behavior, and like they have this Cas9 protein or whatever it's called, right? It's like a Pac-Man that just goes throughout your cell and cuts bad DNA strands in half and gets rid of them, right? They can make you sick literally anytime they want. So the graphene compound, the graphene nanoparticulate is bonded to the inside of the cell. Well, it's a resonator, and that's what they mean by it's a wirelessly modifiable nanoparticulate, right? That was the mRNA. That's how they're wirelessly doing shit to people. So up down on emotions, up down on health and thought and wavelength and sleep patterns and whatever, right? All of these different kinds of things. Those people probably are dead inside, right? They're being run through the ringer one way or the other because they're, the frequencies that are coming out of the 5G towers have everything to do with what this is here. People getting angry, extremely angry, like out of nowhere, myself included. Like I've watched, like, this is not natural, right? I would have to literally think that to myself so I didn't snap. The other day, I was just thinking, like, man, I want to drive my fucking truck right through this guy he did some, those guys that, like, speed out in front of everybody else to get in front of them, like, while you're already in a single lane, they go off the shoulder of the road and rip out in front of you. Did that to me, and it's just like, you little motherfucker. You're like, I wanted to just smash the guy, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, you fucking psycho, right? Like, so what is what called, Trusty Kevin? The book is called, if that's what you're talking about, the book is called How Emotions Work in Humans and Computers. It's saying I only have 9 viewers. I think there's more because there's a lot more people in the comments. What about those satellite phones? They also know who owns them. I don't know much about those, Diane, to be honest. Audible book. It's the audio. It's in an audio book on Audible called How Emotions Work in Humans and Computers. Once digital is implemented, it won't matter what direction we go in. Period. Yeah. I mean, the drone stuff, the robots and automation stuff at this point, the Raytheon things that they just Google some automated weapon systems by Raytheon or the hell's the other one starts with an L? Like Lockheed Martin, aerial, whatever, aerial weaponry or whatever, but autonomous stuff. Google it, look it up. Like, look at the stuff they were able to do and the stuff that they did create. And, how do humans fight against that, right? Hey, I got an AR, right? Everybody's going, I'm a patriot, I got an AR, gun rights and all that stuff. All right, well, there's a fucking helicopter up there with nobody in it. It's got an infrared light on you right now that you can't see, right? You're lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. It can see you. It's got 15 different types of missiles already zoomed in on you, right? Like, that's the reality. Drone strikes and all that shit. You ever watch some of the stuff of what Trump or Obama did, from these, like, not B-52s, but whatever the big one is, the air, I can't think, I don't know why I can't think of it, but so yeah, it's stopping the people that are allowing all these technologies to take, the etymology of the word smart means to cause pain. Good afternoon, everyone. So freaking good to see you, a real man. Likewise, Scott. Stock market could crash tonight. Right, and it's that here's the one part everybody's missing, is that if the money goes down, right, and they say, all right, here's the new stipulations that go with the financial markets being dropped or downed or whatever, they're extremely weak at that same, so they have to leave themselves open at that moment, right? There is no financial system. Here's the answer, this digital system. Everybody all at once, fuck you, we don't want your digital system, adios, right? Then they're going to start doing some kind of militarized shit, right? They're going to go back to some kind of kinetic armaments or, right, something. That's what the government would probably do at this point. But if everybody lined up and said, no, I ain't having it all at one time, it wouldn't do very well. But the stock market dropping, who gives a shit at this point, right? Secret Covenant says anyone questioning what is going on will be classed as crazy. Using our bodies as W-band routers. AI lies. I catch Grok doing it all the time. I call it out and it says, I'm sorry for the confusion. Let's get this corrected. Right, so Scott, if you're angry with Grok, right, it can tell. Your frustration, right, that's what it's after. It's all the stuff around it, right? It's the algorithm, it's the inflection. Somebody reminded me that I was thinking about that word the other night. I could not bring it back to my memory for God knows what reason. But your voice inflection, all that's actually measured. I had another AI chatbot I was using like early on. I'm like, wow, this is wild. It was called Pi, P-I, personal something. I can't remember what the I stood for. But I'm like, wow, this is reading me. This is learning me as I'm doing all these things. And like that one, it was easy to tell. And I kept asking it all these questions on how is this used for my digital twin. And the damn thing would answer me. It is all collected. It is all aggregated data. You would have to get these answers from the developers and blah, blah, blah were the answers to that, It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. I'm mad, real as it gets. I swear I can't find a real man. Prepper, homesteader, gardener, pet groomer, business owner, own all my own toys, camper, boat, motorcycle, truck, car. Can't find a man. Keep looking. They're there. They're there. They're just... What the hell just that? Using our bodies. Here we go. I don't know why I'm doing a live right now. It's just because I think people deserve to know all this stuff. They're going to have digital twins. They already have digital twins. Are they going to join us in this cuckold? That's true. It's true, dude. It is. Like, people just say, go ahead, do whatever the fuck you want with me. Like, nobody gives a shit. Like, none of them give a shit. You know, like, me going into a bar in the local area where I'm from, people always give you that sideways look like, oh, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. You know, like, you're safer if you just don't talk to him. like, you don't be fucking terrified of me. Be terrified of the shit that I'm telling you about what they're doing. They're the fucking ones you got to be terrified of. I'm on your side, you fucking retard. You know, like, that's how I feel. I want to address people that, like, put their eyes down when they look at you, you know, like, they feel bad for you because they think you're crazy. Like, no, dude, I'm keeping up. You're fucking retarded. It's like, that's how I feel. Oh my God. Good afternoon. Senior Pascal all. There have been 10 helicopters since 10 a.m. One was all windows, many times and black. Jib jab and the fluoride stare. I think that's mine. I think I termed that. It was the fluoride. They give you that fluoride stare. I said that like at the beginning when I started like really going nuts on Facebook about fluoride. I did a whole probably about 2 weeks or 3 weeks worth of hard digging, finding out the Zionists were, you know, the ones who actually pushed it into our government. I think it was during the Nixon tenure when Nixon was president. It was the guy in charge of whatever, but yeah. $27. Yeah, it's like it shows different for everybody all the time. Jillian says 32 now. Hi, Jill. Reaper. All they have to do is log into their MAC addresses and type end. It's the backdoor kill switch and the body will drop. I agree. I totally agree. I think that's very real. So maybe the nanotechnology graphene is trying to mess up our carbon. Look up the carbon nanostructures or the carbon capture program is what you want to look up. The carbon capture program. I made a post about it yesterday. Somebody also commented on that the carbon capture program is literally jet fuel is what they mean, right? To use a sustainable jet fuel that's better for the environment, which also is completely, like half of it is graphene, right? Graphene, like the vaccines, right? So carbon capture program by Yale University that all of the major airlines use. That's FedEx, UPS, all of them. You know, so that's what they mean by the carbon. Are they going to be on this ride with us? Digital twins, they have to deactivate the technology. Is Trump going to have digital currency? That's definitely coming. I don't know when. I sent you a video of what's floating around in the air in the UK. Liam says, I shouldn't have taken the red pill. Laugh out loud. I know exactly what. I don't even have to read the rest of your comment. Oh, man, I swear. I would swear to God, I wish I was dumb. I wish I was just as stupid as everybody else. Like, honest to God. Like, holy shit. This is every day I wake up and say, holy shit. Oh, man. He says, I shouldn't have taken the red pill. Sometimes not knowing the truth is better because knowing the truth and can't really do much about it kind of pisses you off. It's for sure. I mean, there's things you could do about it at this point. I mean, like right now, you would have to do like what they did over in, was it it's Tibet, right? I think Tibet had the overthrow of the government and all that. Like you have to isolate, like you have to go up the chain. I said this like 4 or 5 years ago. You're in the army. They say, go bomb those people over there that are innocent. We want to wipe out all those Palestinians because they're enemies of Israel, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck you. You're telling me to go kill somebody. We're just going to kill you instead. You go back up the chain. Where your commands come from, you go back up the chain at those commands. You go to your job and they say, everybody's got to be vaccinated. All right, boss, you're getting your ass beat back in the janitor's closet right now if you fucking say that shit again. Right? Like, that's the way you're going to have to fight back because it's in the corporate world. It's in the military world. It's, you know, it's in everything. It's in the restaurants and whatever, right? We watched how effective they were through COVID. If you're not going back up the chain at the people who are dishing out the orders, it's just going to take its natural course, right? Everybody's working off of money. So if the money is there and the money, the financial systems that are, you know, appeasing people through all of it, right? And the people who are benefiting from it, the governors, the mayors, right? They're getting their free paycheck. These representatives and senators, they're getting their paycheck. They don't give a fuck as long as they get to keep that free money coming, right? They don't give a shit. All right, you want me to enforce policy and procedure, my pleasure. $150, $250, $400,000 a year, whatever. State police, good cushy job, $100,000 a year, right? Yeah, I'll do whatever. I'll pull those people over. Why? Because it makes driving and owning a vehicle way more difficult for people who already can't afford to have their registration or their inspection or don't know how to live a life where they go and they take care of those things regularly or on time, So it's making car ownership more difficult. Why have they upped? I don't know where you guys live, but there's at least 3 people pulled over on my commute every single day I see, right? Tag readers and all this AI-driven shit. I mean, that's the takeover. That's the people that are fully compliant. That's the people that are not looking back up the chain and saying, hey, I understand what's going on. There's a top-down, policy and procedure distribution of World Economic Forum bleeding into all these little small governments and state governments and county governments and whatever else. Nobody's fighting back on any of it. They're saying, yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. I need my money. Give me my paycheck, and that's where they go. So, horrible thick fog. Saying, show me your company and I will tell you what you are. So look at Trump's early company. Oh, old saying is, show me your company and I will tell you what you are. Yeah. We are awake to this BS. Keep it up, Shane. Thanks, Liam. We have to use our brains, folks. We are running out of time. We've ran out of time already. There's no way that people are going to just give up, like paying taxes on their houses and all that. I mean, that's what has to happen. Taxes don't even pay these people anymore, right? The technocracies is what pays all of the politicians now. Bill Gates has this, unending cash flow, hey, we'll double your $400,000 a year, Mr. President, right? That's what it is. I mean, you can't compete with how so it's got to be, it's got to be off of principle. Anybody that's going to run anything in government, the money cannot influence any of that, right? How much, whatever, man. I mean, go into the whole Israel thing. You got to go into the whole Israel thing. You just have to. You have to go into the whole Israel thing. They don't ever beg anybody for money. It just lays there for them. It's always laid out. Here, Israel, here's some money. Germany is still paying reparations to Israel, right? Reparations for not even being Semitic people, right? They're paying Jews for being Jews that were murdered Jews, right? That, it doesn't make sense. Right? They're still paying. It's holy shit. How don't people get this all right now, at this point, I'm trying to catch this one that said horrible, oh, there it is. Horrible thick fog in the UK all day, even though on Zoom Earth, the sky looks clear. Took the dogs out in the woods, and all I could see was millions of spider webs. White, obviously, they are always there. Nanoparticulates, right? White, always there, but today could see them everywhere like they were full of white dust. Picked my grandson up. He literally walked 10 meters to the car and had a choking, coughing fit in the car and coughing for the next 2 hours. So I wonder about these threads, right? Like when I did that video on the thread dancing around, the static charge and all that. Now, I never said that it is graphene. I'm saying, what the fuck is it? That's what I'm saying. What is it? Does anybody else know, right? There's been a whole bunch of people that responded what they think it is, right? But what is it? If you look up Tesla phoresis on YouTube by Rice University. Look up Tesla phoresis. You'll see graphene is self-organizing and self-bonding. It will create its own circuitry using wireless energy, right? Electromagnetic fields and whatnot. Well, that same graphene that they use in those experiments is the same graphene that they use in people's bodies. It's the same graphene that they use for stratospheric aerosol injection, right? Spider webs and all this stuff building on my infrared cameras. The spiders know that the light is there. They know that the infrared is there, which is pretty interesting. Like there's always a spider web out in front of it. But I always wonder about the places where there are no spiders. I see these webs together and I wonder to myself, I wonder if that was a spider that made that web, right? Because you start to think about the Tesla phoresis thing and the graphene self-assembling and all that. So I wonder, it's a good point. But we're breathing that shit in, right? It's dust and debris and whatever else. Like, it's charged particles. It's charged dust. It's in the sky. We can create our own set of laws and rules and use the Constitution to work for us. We got to kick them out of our government. All of them. Like, automatically. Get out of our government, you know? Michelle says, horrible thick fuck. I just read this. Why are these doing this? That is the spiderweb technology. That is the Sorain. Spiderweb. I should have video with me on it. I'll look it up. But I didn't mean to have this big long video. You know, it's Sunday afternoon. There's usually pretty good time to have some great conversations. Only reason I ever do the lives, you know, is just to help people become more aware of what's exactly happening. Like, you ever notice I'm always scratching my face? Like, I feel like a fucking meth head. You know, like, you see these guys are walking around scratching themselves all, like, I'm always itchy. I don't fucking do meth. I don't do crack. I don't do drugs. I don't even fucking drink usually, you know? So, I don't know what it is, but I am always itchy. I've got a brush at my house, like a little fine tooth brush that I brush my beard with because it's always itching me. And, you know, like, I've given up on the whole jam a fork in the beard to scratch those itches. That's what I used to do. I take a fork and scratch my tooth, like, yes. So, that brush I got specifically for that itchy skin. And, what the fuck is this guy doing here? Yo. Oh, hold on a second. A light popped out of my trailer on me. Give me 1 second. But that itchy skin, right? That dust that's on me, embedded in my beard, like, after I get out of a shower, where the fuck did it come from? Like, I'm looking all the time. Where is this orange, these orange strands of things? Where's that all coming from? You know, it's crazy. I think, what the hell's going on here? Hold on. Guy is sitting in front of me with reverse lights on. Weird. Got some stuff I have to throw off in a dumpster. So that, hopefully, you know, this is, I guess, the end. Come on. What are you bitching about me? Shave it? Shave the beard? I actually like not taking out a loan to go buy some chic shavers these days. Honest to God, you go and look at razors to shave your face, it's like the numbers are like, the cost is ridiculous. The numbers, like, you have to take a loan out. $35, $45 for a goddamn razor. You're like holy shit. And then they come out with all the holistic natural stuff for these days now, and it's like, you got to wonder if they're all embedded with graphene. But like, bring up a few different, you know, for the people that don't want aluminum in their deodorant. Dr. Squatch was the new brand that came out after COVID. Well, what's in Dr. Squatch? Do some graphene tests on that. I'll bet you it's in there. What came out as an alternative to coffee that's not healthy for you, right? The Harvard graduate that created Rise Mushroom Coffee, right? So Rise Mushroom Coffee, another one I think would have graphene in it. So how do you get graphene into all the people who are healing themselves? Like, I don't want fluoride, I want alternative toothpaste that has no fluoride, right? Hey, you people that don't want the fluoride, this is the answer for you, right? All of those new products are probably targeting the people that are aware of these harmful compounds in our foods and in our thing, you know, like, so a lot of brands got really popular really quick, right? So think about that, you know. We'll have to listen later. This has turned out to be a lot longer than I wanted it to. Ground coffee has mold and parasites. Yeah. So then the mushroom coffee thing comes up, right? You got to think about it. Well, who let all the information out about the coffee that we've been drinking for years, right? Why suddenly has that become this very popular thing? Who knew to have the alternative waiting when that information on the conventional coffee making thing in the United States, who knew that was already going to come out and was sitting there with the solution? Why did they have the solution before the problem came up as a very popular understanding of things, So I make my own toothpaste. Same. Ground them yourself. Buy your beans and ground them. It's so easy to make your own deodorant and toothpaste. I make my own. Well, I mean, I guess I just wanted to bring up that book and why it's important to understand that the modeling system that's being used, right? What is being used to gather all of your data and the way that you think, the way that you react, the way that you purchase, the way that you do everything, the way that you do everything with everybody else, demographics and analytical research and all of that, right? All of it. It's all cataloged, all of it. That is all built into AI, right? And they use graphene to make it all happen as far as anything that they cannot teach it physically. That's what the graphene is for. So that's where people need to start learning, like super quick. Super pronto. Shoot me your address in a private message and I'll send you a deodorant cream, lemon or lavender. Lemon. I'm definitely more sour. I'm not a lavender kind of guy. I've got some tang, lady. Started drinking coffee, cacao. Somebody said I can't see your name. It says, great. I live in a rental house full of mold. Also, just found out that Wi-Fi makes mold worse. Yeah. You've got to grounding Wi-Fi off. You have to listen, man. The answer to all of this stuff outside is grounded copper. However you can get grounded copper. That's the answer to all of the wavelength, all of the frequency stuff, all of the unwanted electrons that you're being completely smothered with, right? All of those, it's grounded copper will diffuse all of it. It discharges all of it. So put up antennas and stick them in the ground, copper wire, whatever, right? The electroculture thing, the whole paint can thing, right? That does a bigger area, I guess. I don't know. Everything around me, like the leaves haven't even turned around my house. And everywhere else that I'm at, the leaves are all different colors. But I also live next to the river, so I'm sure that that's some kind of factor. I don't know about all the way up and down the river, which I'm going to pay attention at some point today. But that's the end of my live, I think. I'm going to read this last one. I worked for a company called... Let me read that real quick. Please don't bombard me with any last-minute comments. I like to cover them all. I worked for a company called Capita. They have more contracts with the government than anyone. I was looking through the vacancies, and they have a social listening department. Oh, wow. I'm nervous to eat yogurt anymore since I know what they've done to the bacteria. Yeah, CRISPR and all that. CRISPR it's like, this is old stuff, man. It's 25 years old. They've been doing all of it. AI, gene editing, all that shit. It's all incorporated into the same system of overtaking our country. So, I mean, that's the end of my life. I got to do some work now real quick here. Dump some stuff off. But peace. Have a great day. I'll try to catch your comments later on. All right. Bye.